Slipways is billed as being a turn-based strategy puzzle game, but it plays kind of like a digital board game. Is it any good? Watch on and find out. My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. Slipways by Beetlewing was actually recommended to me on the 4X strategy game subreddit when I was looking for a game that featured a lot of interstellar trade and goods transformation. I put about 3 hours into it to figure out if that's what it did or not. I was a little skeptical about firing it up because some of the posts on the thread talked about it essentially being a puzzle game, and Steam backed that up with the tags. When I only play a game for a few hours, it's usually not a good sign, but don't worry, I actually like this one. The core loop in Slipways is to colonize planets/systems and then build, slipways between them. Each system you colonize has a number of colony types that it can be, and each one of those types has both input and output requirements. When you don't fulfill either the input or output requirements, the happiness of the colony suffers, which impacts the overall satisfaction of your empire and your governorship. The standard game goes on for 25 years of game time, at which point the game ends and the scores are tabulated. There are a number of tutorials, but they are all literal lessons in book/chapter format and not actual gameplay. The first game you do play is merely a standard game with some random advisors and no perks chosen. But the tutorial does a good enough job of giving you a handle on most of the basics. Explore sectors to find the planets, look at what colony types you can build, figure out what makes sense from a connect-the-dots perspective, and try to put your plan into action. However, according to Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, you get punched in the face right quick in Slipways because things don't always go according to the plan. One of the amazing features of this game is that it has an undo button. That's right. If you build a colony only to realize that the connection you wanted to make isn't, makeable, you can undo it. That's great. Pretty much any action that isn't probing space can be undone. Because sending out a probe and finding out what planets are there only to undo that action would just be unfair. You cheater. But I get that, and it makes sense. There are a number of different game mechanics besides the basics that go into finding success in Slipways. You can build science laboratories that you feed certain resources into to produce research, and that research can be spent to purchase perks. The different types of perks that you can buy via research are dependent upon the races of the advisors that you choose. One of the interesting perks I found came in the form of an ability to convert a planet into a slipway relay. Normally, you can only build a single slipway directly between two colonies. Your slipways have a maximum distance for connection. Well, you can get research unlocks to improve that distance, but still, in some cases, you really want to connect two planets, but there is something in the middle that prevents you from doing so. Enter the relay. Converting a planet into a relay allows you to go from the first colony to the relay and then to the desired destination. As your empire grows, the overhead increases, which can cause problems. For example, an unhappy colony with its needs unmet will grow unhappier the larger your empire gets, and this can be a real drain on the overall happiness score. The advisors will occasionally give you tasks, and completion of those tasks results in various unlocks and buffs. And the more tasks you complete, the better your score will be at the end of the game. The reason I say that this feels a little bit like a digital board game is primarily the hard cap on playtime. There are a couple of different game modes that don't include that 25-year time limit, but a fixed number of turns with a score calculation feels right at home in the tabletop space. But this game is decidedly single-player, and that's okay. Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. Slipways is the kind of game that is easy to get into at first, but clearly has a ton of strategic depth and will take a lot of time to master. While it does seem a little puzzle-ish in that a particular map seed likely has certain solutions that are better than others, part of the fun is just seeing how far you can go with a completely random seed. And it appears that getting better at the game will unlock some other modes which look like they might be pretty interesting. On my trademark 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, in spite of my general bad luck with digital board games, Slipways actually was quite a bit of fun. The biggest drawback is that you cannot save a game in progress, and games take at least an hour, so it's not the kind of thing that you can easily just pick up and muck with for a few turns and then put away. But that's okay, because all those wheat and microbes will make for some tasty, tasty space gruel.